In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Show Me Your News, the pinnacle for delivering and debating the gaming news that matters the most to you.
Rumor-filled gossip, hardware blunders, or upcoming releases.
If it relates to video games, we want to talk about it.
I am Yoko, and I am soothed by the Louis C.K. Pandora channel.
I am Super, and I am soothed by this nice glass of Fuse.
I'm Tony, and I haven't had a soda in a week. Yeah.
Good job, that's awesome. What is Fuse? I can't say I've heard it up around this area.
Is it an energy drink?
It's not an energy drink. It's a fruit drink. That's basically what it's called. It's just Fuse. That's the brand.
Oh, okay, now I've heard it.
Yeah, Fuse is the brand. This is strawberry melon.
See, with Tony following up with pop, I'm like, or soda, because we call it pop in Michigan. I was like, I haven't heard of that. You're.
Fuse totally sounds like an energy drink, though.
It does. But that's like Surge, which was really caffeinated. Anyway, we are part of the SMYN network at ShowMeYourNews.com, and our top stories today for episode 142 of the podcast on not Saturday, it's actually Thursday, August 29th, 2013. The Smash update this week delivered a new stage to the Wii U version, so that may have implications on a character that is wanted for this version of the game. Also, the Nintendo 2DS. That's not a joke, that's a thing. And we also got a price drop for the Wii U. We'll talk about that. Also, Gamescom happened in Cologne, Germany. And so there are Sony implications, there are Microsoft implications. We'll talk about that news that broke there. The hilarity of the week this week. Did Call of Duty kill chivalry? CNBC asked the question, and they just kind of failed all over the place. We've got our story pool, games that are actually out recently as opposed to our last episode a couple weeks ago. We'll get on our soapbox. We'll give YouTube recommendations as we wrap up the show. No guest this week. We kind of had a interesting timing situation where I was talking to these guys like, hey, what's your weekend happening like? Oh, didn't you hear? We're doing this tonight. Let's roll. It's good.
Well, I was under the impression he was going to tell you, and he's like, dude, you always do it. So we kind of goofed, so my bad.
Yeah, so it was kind of a rush for us, much less
I feel like it's equally his fault, though.
Sure. Much less to pull a guest last minute. So there is a lot to cover anyway. We're going to have a full hour and a half of a show here. We're going to start, with what are you playing, where we briefly touch on the games you've been playing in the last couple weeks. And we start with Super. What have you been playing?
I have been quite busy between a tournament recently for Project M, and I haven't had much time for other games, but I finally did start playing Kid Icarus Uprising again. And I beat Medusa. I had no life left when I did it, and I started spamming these, when you're flying, you get these ultra sky attack things that build up over time, and I realized it was at the end of the battle. I had no health left, and I'm just like, I'll just spam it. I just had them saved up, so I just used them real quick, and it ended the battle for me. I'm like, all right, good.
That works.
So I'm in like part 2 of the game or something like that, because that was chapter 9, and this is now chapter 10. New antagonist. So it's good. I like it. Problem, I don't have my stylus anymore. Yeah, after the tournament, I brought it out, and it did not have the stylus in it anymore, so I gotta go buy one.
It's kind of important for that game.
Yeah, I used a pencil earlier.
I would not trust a pencil on my 3DS screen.
It's a mechanical pencil.
Did you ever get those Sonic Chronicles styluses?
No.
They're pretty nice. They're pretty, I know innuendo and whatnot, but they're a lot bigger and thicker, so they're just like easier to hold and stuff. I know. Preemptively, I got that.
Come up with your own jokes in your own mind, everyone.
Yep. Just go nuts. But I've got some extras laying around for that reason.
Anything else for you, Super?
Shut up.
Just some Legend of Zelda. I beat the third temple. I don't know how I pulled it off. It's a lot of jumping around and like wishing for the best. Those red axe throwing, I guess they're moblins, or they look like orcs to be honest, or bipedal rhinos or something. But those things are
Cool.
broken as hell.
Did you happen to see Gerard's Defended on Zelda 2?
No,
You should do that since you're saying it's not all that terrible.
It really
he
isn't.
defends it
It
pretty
was
well.
a good episode. Yeah, I agree.
it's a very strong game. I'd be honest.
Yeah, check that out.
hmm
And anything else?
You don't have
Uh,
Mean Bean Machine on here, Super.
No, I don't have me. Tony came up to the Smash tournament, and he hung at our hotel room for one night, and we booted up Mean Bean Machine. Apparently, Tony plays that game.
Yeah,
I don't.
I've never had anyone to play that with, and I wrecked his ass.
And I beat him twice. He beat me 20 sometimes, but I
Almost
just
sounds like, and I helped.
Yeah.
I was so proud that I legit beat him twice. He killed himself twice too.
Oh yeah.
I did nothing. I did nothing. And like things are going to hell on my side of the board. He's just got all these combos built up, and then he just ups and kills himself. He just builds a tower and kills himself. And I just look
Like,
over and
oops.
like, how did I win? Exactly?
It's funny because I would like get mad because like I had combos ready and he'd die, and I'm like, you bastard! I had like 8 things coming your way. If anyone plays that game and is going to Yomicon, please play me because I want somebody to play that with. Or Kirby's Avalanche because it's essentially the same game. But whatever version of it, I'll play it with you.
And I'm no good at it.
Yeah, it's a good sport though.
If it came out for like the 3DS, I'd play it a bit.
Oh yeah, they might have the Game Gear version of it, which is kind of crappy.
There's a Game Gear. Oh yeah, I guess there is. Hey, I think
Yeah, there
I think
is.
they do have it. I'm just gonna
might.
go over here and mute my mic for a second.
Okay.
I
Tony,
guess I'm done.
Tony, what you playing?
I only got one game on here, as you can see, but it's not because I'm like not playing games. I got Mario and Luigi Dream Team on here, and I've amassed over 40 hours on it.
Wow.
So that any free time I have has been on that.
So how is that?
I really, really like it. There are some things wrong with it. Yatu was first to point this out, or maybe not first, but he did point this out. There's giant Luigi battles in the Dreamland where you'll turn into a giant Luigi, and I have to do a semi-scripted fight where you turn the 3DS sideways and you tilt and you stylus, and they're cool. They're a little irritating sometimes. Seems like the enemies do a lot more damage to you. But the thing that he pointed out, which I completely agree with, is you grind and you get your stats up, and you grind and you grind, and then when that boss fight comes, it doesn't matter because it's more or less scripted, and that is a bummer. And I've done like 4 of them, and I know there's a 5th one because he spoiled it, but it's like Mario, so spoilers, it's Bowser.
Oh, noes.
Which is kind of funny though, because Bowser's not really the antagonist in a lot of Mario RPGs. It's not the best for like little reasons like that. Also, I've like barely used any items because badge effects are nice, but you can buy like the cheapest healing item and just like get like 90 of them really easy if you're fighting a lot and you have a lot of coins, and just heal that way, like between battles. I've like barely used any items in battle. In the Dream World, you're only Mario with like Luigi boosting effects. So having one turn, you like really don't want to use items because then it's like, okay, now you're gonna get attacked again.
So it's
But
not a disappointment like Sticker Star was.
No, it's really good. There are some things wrong with it, but I just love Mario RPGs. I love Luigi, and this one's very fun. I'm trying to get to level 40 because you get like another rank and you get to visit a little like shop with, I'm sure, a bunch of cool armor or something. I honestly don't know. Before I'm not finished yet. I'm like in
Oh, wow.
Bowser's Castle. But I'm at level 37, and I know you get stuff. You get to level 40, so I'm actually gonna do that before I beat the game because, I mean, come on.
Sounds like it's a good idea, and that's how they get you with leveling and grinding and all that.
Oh yeah, it's a good reward system. There's also like little reward systems of like not getting hit, and that's like stupid. Like I can't do it. It's like they don't want me to get hit at all. I'm like, come on. You want me to survive like 10 rounds of attacks and not
Oh
get hit?
yeah, I
That's
saw
hard.
some of those. Kind of like little achievement things.
Yeah, but they give you like gear and stuff. But the little bit of a completionist in me is like annoyed because I can't do that. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really good. Check it out.
Here's
Alright.
an update. There is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on the Game Gear version.
Oh,
Yep.
how about that?
On the Wii or on the.
That sounds like 3DS.
3DS.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, go ahead.
Gosh, it's sad when you can tell the menu music playing
Oh, yeah,
from a
that's right.
distance in a microphone. What am I playing? I finished up the Ace Attorney HD trilogy on iPad and finished that up with Trials and Tribulations HD. That game is so good. Like every case
Yo.
means something. It's strung together in it's a kind of complex narrative order because it just kind of jumps around a timeline a little bit, but it really makes sense when everything comes together, and there's really good foreshadowing. I forgot how much I really enjoyed that game. There's a reason it's on my top 10 narratives list on the SMYN Top 10 show. Then I hesitantly started Pikmin 3. I got about 2.5 hours into it. I got to the Tundra, where you're looking for the captain, and you get the electric Pikmin.
Really?
And I hit
There's an electric one?
the yellow.
Yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're-
the
I
kind
thought
like
you meant.
when-
I thought the electric effect was just a brawl thing.
No.
Oh.
So
I don't remember. I think they can like tackle electric fences in one, but then they can't in two. Like it's weird. It's
and
something
then
weird like
they'd
that.
be thrown farther. I hit the breaking
Yeah.
point with the game where not only am I terrible at strategy to begin with, and it was doing a good job, leading me through the game, but I was getting to the point where I was hitting a wall where, the days would end, and I had, 6 or 7 fruits, so I could, extend the days I could play, I guess, because it does the whole weird time-based system. But I was getting to the end of the day and like, hurry up, time's running out. And I'm like, I'm so far estranged from so many of my Pikmin. It would be a massacre. I can't help it. I have to do this again. And when I was playing that day for the 3rd time, I'm like, I'm not liking this. I can't do this well. I can admit to that. I had already admitted on this show that I was going to be terrible at it. But, I got to experience a good little bit of Pikmin 3, and it's a well-made game for those that can play those style of games.
Beautiful, too.
It is. It does look really nice, especially in HD. And for those that have
Like,
played
if you
the
like
previous
use that
ones.
camera and like zoom in and focus and stuff, it's like crazy in the amount of detail and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing the best control scheme in that you have the Wii Remote and nunchuck, but then you have the gamepad in your lap. So like that kind of acts as the map that you can look down, but you kind of have a little more control where you can lock on and strafe with the Wii Remote and nunchuck. You can do more precision pointing with the remote. So that's like, I guess, the best way to play, supposedly.
Well, and people are accustomed to that from the Wii ports of 1 and 2 as well.
That's true. Yeah. Solid Snake 120 says, why is no one playing Tales of Xillia? Lots of people in the community are. We
I
are.
hope they're not paying $90 for
Xillia,
it.
Xillia is only for PS3, isn't it?
Yes.
There's your answer why I'm not playing it.
Otherwise, he would, yeah.
I'm the Tales fan, but I don't have a PS3, so I can't play the Tales games.
So there you go. I also started Leighton Brothers Mystery Room, which is on the iOS. It was the game where about a month or 2 ago, their Level 5s just said, hey, this was a game in Japan. It's out now in America. Just so you know, like, no plans to say, like, oh, it's coming to America. It's like, here's the trailer, and it's out today. So
Here you go.
it's kind of, crime-based and, collecting evidence, investigating crime scenes, very much like the investigation parts of Ace Attorney. And then you do this kind of confrontation. It's not in a courtroom or whatever. But the idea is that Alfendi Leighton, and there's a brother, that apparently is met later is Herschel Layton's son. So, like, the next generation, sort of, in that regard.
There it is.
Hmm?
There it is. That's how they'll extend the series, I mean.
Oh, right. So,
Yeah.
there is talk of a Layton 7 game, though, that was just announced in Japan. And there wasn't much talk of what it actually is, but it looks pretty different. And not only is it coming to 3DS, but also iOS and Android. And that's kind of bizarre. But then again, I think they already came out with the Azran Legacies game over there, which still has to come out over here. The Layton franchise is in a state of flux. Anyway, I finished the first case. It was a good little intro to the game, but it took about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then there are multiple cases, so that game could take a while. I also played the demo for the wonderful 101. There's a lot going on in that game. It was super confusing in that you have all these characters on the screen. You got to keep track of where yours is. And it's nice how it works with the gamepad. You draw the different shapes to change the form of your heroes. And it did cool things where you enter a building, and because it's, the main camera on the TV is overhead of the world, you're going more in depth into the screen. So you're focused on solving a puzzle on the gamepad when you're inside the building. So it did pretty cool things there. Pretty lengthy demo. I didn't really like how it was broken up in all these mission modes, and then otherwise the battles, basic, hack and slash kind of thing, or punch or slash and all that. Not something I'm going to pick up immediately full price, but maybe later down the line. It's an experience when you try it, so definitely give it a try on the Wii U if you have one and you're considering buying it.
I really hope people buy it, to be honest.
I mean, it's a new IP for Nintendo, so...
That's pretty much it. It's kind of like, this is something Nintendo kind of needs people to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks so interesting. And it actually, has a super involved plot and stuff from that trailer I watched.
There's something called color. So...
There's more color. I was browsing some pictures, and there was a 4chan thread that they took pictures of. I wasn't browsing 4chan, but it was just kind of like people were like, look at the PS4 graphics of upcoming games and next to the Wii U. Isn't the Wii U awful? And I'm like, there is more color in that Wii U 101 game than all of the games you just put up for the PS3.
Yep.
I understand that graphics isn't the big thing, but I just made it so the graphics on the Wii U look better than PS4 without even trying.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean.
It's kind of like, I like color. I like color. I didn't realize that was supposed to be a kiddie thing, but apparently everything has to be dark and gritty. I can't believe we're still in that mindset.
Yep.
I know.
Never going to escape. Let's get into the headlines for the past couple of weeks, and we start as we have the past, several episodes, because we were originally the premier Super Smash Bros. Brawl podcast. We start with the Smash update from the past couple weeks in Miiverse photos, because that's all Masahiro Sakurai is going to give us at the moment. So the main news this past week was the Pyrosphere stage. It comes out of Metroid Other M.
This is a cool looking stage.
I agree. I think this was, if you want to talk about the most recent
Can
Metroid
you like
stage,
that?
which was the most identifiable place in that game. It's this.
Identical.
Yes, identical. It's so identical.
I like that.
I really need to play that game again because it didn't stick in my memory very well. I really had fun with it, as we've known from my arguments with Buzzsaw, but...
The gameplay, kind of, yes. The story, not so much.
Yeah, the story's kind of weird, but...
Well,
it had that weird, Resident Evil kind of bad story that I like, though.
Yeah, I suppose. Anyway, this is the place in Metroid Other M where Samus fights Ridley.
Oh.
So it's this room with the lava and everything. And so when Sakurai says, an enemy from Samus's past may appear at any second, dun dun dun.
Stage hazard.
Dead
Gosh,
Ridley.
If Ridley is a stage hazard, that would be an insult. And this,
Oh,
well, granted,
yeah.
this is coming from someone who wants Ridley to be in the next game and has seen hacks of Ridley on Charizard, saying it's not so bad to see him, shrunk in size like that. But if he's like a stage hazard, I mean, we had that in Subspace Emissary, which worked in that context. But if it's just like, if he's going to come across and tackle a character or even pull them off stage to grind them against the wall of the stage like he did with Samus, I mean, no thanks.
That was cool.
Yeah, here's the main problem. He's not going to be a playable character. I just don't see the team really utilizing him in that way, and I've never seen him be able to utilize him in that way. And it's such a cock tease since Melee. The Melee opening with, and it's kind of been that way with the Smash community. I've watched it just like Ridley in the next one. I'm like, I just don't see it. Ever.
I'm okay with them saying no Ridley in the next one. I've got over it once. I'm okay with it again. But please not a stage hazard that could, hinder what looks to be a really cool stage. At least from a competitive perspective.
I hope he's not going to be
nice if they just would give us the option to turn stage hazards off. That wouldn't I'd be totally cool with whatever stupid thing they'd want to throw into stages.
Oh, you think Sakurai thinks of those things.
I think Bandai Namco might.
Yeah, I look at this and kind of go, I'd rather him not be a stage hazard, but it'd be really cool to see him doing stuff in the background.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Or if he was a stage hazard, something, not going to kill you, something that's really telegraphed. Like, I see that, I look at this stage and I see the kind of opening the background. It'd be cool to have him, climb up on there and just kind of like bathe the arena in like a slow-moving fire breath. So you can kind of utilize that into a battle strategy rather than, oh, I'm just gonna do stuff. Oh, something came by like a bomb and now I'm dead.
I agree with the first part, not necessarily the second.
I want HD Ridley, I don't care. Just get him in there.
That would look pretty cool.
It's something that looks cool. It's something that I'd expect from them, but as far as the stage hazard is concerned, I think he's going to ruin a very cool stage because this stage looks awesome.
Yep, the Pyrosphere from Metroid Other M on the Wii U version. Now on the 3DS version side, Sakurai's like, oh, we haven't shown you Villager or Wii Fit Trainer. Well, let's do that, but that's not the interesting part of the update.
Yeah.
You have the flexibility of the outlines. Now, we knew that from the original trailer that the 3DS characters would have these black outlines around them to try to make them stand out from the stage. And apparently this is flexible from, having the full outline to part way or gone completely. Now, we don't know if it's, just a three-step stage like that or if it's a dial that we can have, a more variable control over. But this is something I'm glad the team has thought of.
It always weirds me out when I see really thick outlines on cartoons. I'm like, I would hate to draw that.
Yeah. I look at this and I'm like, so how thick can you make it?
Just the whole stage is
covers black. Everyone's battling on a black background.
With black outlines. With black everything.
Well, that's what makes up the black background is their black outlines.
See, we can go next gen. Everything is black and dark.
Yep.
Monochromatic.
Batman confirmed.
Yes.
I did it.
Game and Watch confirmed.
Batman confirmed. Ben Affleck confirmed.
Black outlines. Game & Watch might be screwed.
Oh, it's true.
He's already got an outline.
Game & Watch he confirmed.
Wii Fit Trainer also has a header attack. It looks like more projectile base. It might be a forward air, or if it's projectile base, maybe it's a special move.
Maybe. I'm gonna spam the hell out of that.
But she's doing a header for soccer or football across the pond.
Football.
Doing some footy. Yeah, this is a projectile move. It looks to be pretty strong when you see it in action. So there's that. They're showing more of the Pilot Wing stage, which we saw the Wii U version have the kind of SNES Pilot Wings sort of map. But now we're seeing more of Woohoo Island. We're seeing New and old planes make a rendezvous. The right
It
side
is
of Woohoo
interesting
Island.
to note
Mm-hmm.
that when they showed off the kind of first part of the stage, they showed the combatants fighting on the red plane, but in the most recent picture, they were fighting on the yellow plane, and the red plane was in the background.
Mm-hmm. So maybe they change over time.
Yep,
Yeah.
planes fly by, and the
Gotta jump plane to
playable,
plane.
yeah,
Pokey floats.
pretty much.
It's interesting to see what Sakurai is pulling more from Kid Icarus Uprising. If this will load specifically the X bomb, not to be mistaken for the one from Meteos. Looks like an item that creates explosion in the shape of an X, but also you have the reset bomb. So different things that are bombs from Kid Icarus Uprising. This is on the Viridi stage on the 3DS, and apparently a reset bomb is meant to return the surrounding area back to nature. I assume you haven't gotten to that part, Super, in the game?
Not a clue what that means.
Maybe you'll figure it out, so keep that in mind when you're playing through that game. Anyway, yeah, it looks to be on the Viridi stage for Kid Icarus Uprising, so there's that. Otherwise, not too interesting of a week. You have Link's forward tilt, looks like, or, yeah, it's not a forward smash, that's looking more like a tilt.
This stage is from Chapter 11. You mean the one I'm on? Okay.
Now you will soon know. And then you got Luigi and Villager. Get this load. Boop. Got your nose.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a kind of been a slow week, and we'll talk about why we're looking at the Miiverse version of these in Super's soapbox. So I don't want to steal his thunder on that one, but you'll want to listen because interesting things happening in the Smash community this past week.
Yuck. Yuck.
But meanwhile, let's talk about the Nintendo 2DS. Yes, you heard this correctly. I know I sent this to you guys, and you both replied similarly in saying, "What?"
I was half awake because initially I'm like, well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a
honest
place.
to God, I don't play in 3D at all.
Yeah.
I've played 40 hours of Mario and Luigi. I turned it on once and said ow and then turned it off again. I'm like, that's a good idea. And then I saw what it was and I'm like, oh, that's not for me.
Yep.
That is for children.
I'm glad
Which is
that you
fine.
guys picked up on that and pointed it out, because if you see the design here, it does not close. In fact,
It's a wedge.
It's kind of like a door, doorstop,
It's a doorstop.
sort of shape. It'd be interesting to try it and see how it feels, especially with those triggers that just look much bigger, the L and R buttons.
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be a entry-level 3DS without the 3D. And if you remember, in the early days of the 3DS, there were the concerns of, will the 3D damage children's eyes? So Nintendo had to put the ages 7 and up warning on the 3DS. So that means you're missing a good chunk of the market that Nintendo likes to cater towards. And you had a lot of suspicious and suspecting parents that say, well, maybe the 3D is not for my child who is under the age of 7 because of this warning. I'll stick with the DS for now. So now this is an attempt to get, this market there. Also, you have the entry-level price of $129.99. It's basically, saving a lot of money where you're not putting the parallax screen that allows for the glasses-free 3D in the top screen as well. And people have been investigating this a little bit.
It's actually one solid screen, and there's just a little piece of plastic in between.
Yes.
Yep.
I was just going to mention that, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
As you said, it's just to save costs. It's one screen that they've put plastic in between the two. So technically, both are touch sensitive, but they've probably layered more plastic on the top screen, so that's kind of deadened any of that touch sensitivity.
Yeah.
All a matter to save costs. Everything on the inside is the same. It still has the exact same functionality except for, the lack of 3D. And it's because it's catered to the young demographic, ideally under the age of 7. It's launching on October 12th, the same day as Pokemon X and Y. They're going to make so much money off of that.
I'm interested to see how many like older people pick this up.
It will be interesting to see.
I kind of want to hold it, if anything.
No, yeah, I agree. I want to give it a try at least. But I think it's been interesting and also a little saddening to see internet reactions.
I can't believe it. I've seen so many people upset, and I'm like, what? It's not for you.
Everyone who has made comments on this system in a negative reaction, like, why doesn't it close? Can't you just turn the slider down on the 3D? It looks stupid. It looks dumb. Why is Nintendo doing this? It's a cash grab. Every single one of these people who has made that kind of statement are completely...
It's not for them.
It's not for them. And then when they're saying, like, oh, well, it's not for me, I'm not going to buy it. Are you happy with your 3DS? Well, good. You get to keep your 3DS. Are you happy with your 3DS XL? Well, great, because you bought one and you're an adult and you have the money to be able to do so. Enjoy your 3DS. Keep the slider down if you don't like the 3D. You're right. This is not for you. That's the point.
Look, there's also kind of this market that I don't think you guys really know about. I learned about it when I was working at Best Buy. These other little touch video game thingies, like one's called the Tab and the other's called like something else. They're made just for those kind of kids in mind, and Nintendo is trying to throw themselves into that market, which I think is an awesome idea. They're trying to get rid of that. They got little cute SpongeBob and Dora games, but I think it's a good idea for like, oh, you got a 5-year-old? Well, this is much more durable and suited for them, and you get to play Pokemon and Mario and all the Nintendo brand games.
You know what kids also like? Tablets.
What? Yep.
That are slate designed and flat that kids naturally gravitate towards with touch screens and everything. This is kind of going off of that, except it's got buttons that you can control games well.
And it's funny that all these people are throwing all the hate on it because, like, almost immediately Nintendo released like a commercial promo thing where all they did was show kids younger than 7 playing it. I'm just kind of like, there's all your proof you need. That this new model is for kids who won't break it on the hinges, and it's designed to fit them more appropriately.
Now, what do you think of the argument that there are people who are saying, oh, well, these kids, they're not going to take care of it. You have the screens that are wide open, and that could have been solved with the closing of the system. And I totally agree with you that the hinge is much less durable than something like that. I think there's something called screen protectors if you're really that concerned about something like that.
There's also the fact that it comes with a carrying case. You slip it in. You buy it, it has a little carrying case in it. When you're done with it, you slip it in the carrying case and zip it up. It protects it from the elements. That's a nice thing. And I don't know if it fits in your pocket real well, but you have that.
Probably not, but is that even a concern for kids that are less than 7? They're not going to have pockets that are big enough.
Yeah, but it goes in their backpacks because they're probably going to bring it to school. It comes in the little, like, the reason I'm bringing up this little carrying case is because that's your screen protector. You're not going to be stabbing the screen when you're using it, and when you're not using it, you're going to throw it in your carrying case, throw it in your backpack, and forget about it until you want to play it next.
Now, I don't know if it was bundled with the carrying case, but they definitely showed in that commercial one, so at least there's ones that are going to be sold.
And you're saving money on the console, so...
I really think they're going to bundle it.
It would be smart to, yeah. But a lot of these are arguments that are adults or older teens or people who have disposable income trying to say, why are they making this move for me when I already have a 3DS? I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get a 2DS. The only legitimate complaint that I've seen and I can relate to and say, oh yeah, that's going to be awful. The name. Particularly when you are talking to parents in a retail setting and they say, well, my kid wants a 3DS. Well, we have this 2DS and it plays 3DS and DS games. Well, no, my son wants a 3DS. That's what he wants. Oh, well, you have the DS, you have the 3DS, the 3DS XL, and the 2DS, and the 3DS and the 2DS and the 3DS XL. They all play the 3DS games and the DS games and blah 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 blah. This could have been named better. I know why they did the 2D to emphasize that, but parents are going to get horribly confused at retail, and that's the only gripe I can actually understand when you consider who it's marketed towards and all that.
Yeah, considering that you worked at Toys R Us, I can definitely say that you probably know the most about that kind of situation.
I mean, there are parents that want Mario on PSP. Too. Like, seriously. They don't know these things.
Oh, dear.
They don't know these things.
I feel for retailers everywhere, trust me.
Yeah. Just like, I just hope that most people will listen when they say, well, okay, how old's your son or daughter? And they'll be like, okay, what you're going to want to get is the Nintendo 2DS. It has all the same guts as a 3DS, but it's made to be more durable for children. And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Good game retailers can explain it well. Unfortunately, there are not many good game retailers.
Yeah. That's kind of the bad point about all that. It's just like, you need someone who's in the know. And, you know, some people just use that as some use their jobs as a paycheck and don't actually look into what actually makes these products tick.
Yep.
Anyway, Nintendo 2DS. Oh, it's ugly and it looks like a kid's toy. Well, yes.
You know what got me the most?
Yes, it is a kid's toy.
And I don't mean to badmouth the guy because I really genuinely like the guy. But Brental Floss came out and made a video like, it's dumb. And I'm like, you're not even a game journalist.
It's funny that you mentioned that video because I watched that a couple hours before this show. And, like, that's exactly what I was trying to get at.
Right? And I love you, Brental Floss. Come be on the show. But come on, man.
Like, you should know better.
I like that Yoshi song you did recently about cooking Baby Mario.
That was a pretty good one. Yeah.
Let's go watch that.
I haven't yet.
It's cute. But yeah, I think this is a really, really, really good idea. And I was semi-interested in it when you told me about it, just because, like I said, I don't play in 3D. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe they should make a model like that for, you know, like adults who just don't care for the 3D if it's a little cheaper. But I think maybe just the way it's made is what's making it cheaper, the one screen and whatnot. So maybe that wouldn't help make it cheaper anyway. So what do you know?
Something really small that just amuses me is the one speaker that will also do stereo sound. Like that's kind of amusing. It doesn't have speakers on both sides. It's just on the left side. But they say, oh, it'll still do stereo sound.
Out of one speaker. Isn't that mono?
Yeah. It should do.
What?
Here's my one main problem with it though, is that it's $129.
Oh, it's apparently stereo with headphones. That's a good correction.
Yeah.
Stereo with headphones. Yeah.
Right. But here's my main problem. It's $129. Yes, it's a cheaper price point. It's less than a single game. If it was retailing at $119, that's good. People go look at that like, that's $40. You retail it at $30, and I'm just like, that's $30. That's less than a game. It's not dramatic enough, I feel.
For a $40 difference between this and the 3DS?
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's dramatic enough. I mean, it should be $40. I look at that and go,
You're
well,
crazy.
obviously, no, hold on. I'm arguing this by the point of what Yoko was saying earlier. You're gonna have the people who see it and kind of go, well, I just want to go for the extra $30 for the better model, and I'm like, no, it's the same thing. What the hell is opening on my account?
All of my bank
just
money.
happened?
It's gone.
I just looked right, and something just came up on my screen.
You just got hacked.
I got hacked. They want me to like something and win $10,000.
Do it.
It's good. It's good.
Stop the show. This is happening now.
That was a thing that happened. I
Keep
touched
talking.
nothing and
I
stuff
think
happened.
that this can drop in price over time, but this is a brand new model that, let's bear in mind, they announced this and it's coming out in maybe a month and a half. Who
That's
does
true,
that?
too.
That's crazy. And this was a really well-kept secret, too. Usually for these kind of things, you'd hear like, oh, well, Foxconn's starting to build this model or this supplier is getting these parts together. This came out of nowhere. The people who got the scoop on this and reported this and they brought it back to their news centers thought they were trolling everyone.
It was funny, too, is I just woke up to a lot of Nintendo news.
Yes.
And I'm like, was there a direct today? Like, I didn't know what happened.
Yeah. No, not a direct day. I mean, followed up with this was the Wii U price drop that is effective on September 20th. So it's finally happening. It's the deluxe model that's going down from $350 to $300.
Now, what happened to the original? Are they getting rid of them, or
There
what?
is mixed messaging on the basic model right now. It looks like the supply is going to be kept very limited, but they're going to try to focus on, how can we get more of the deluxe models out the door, because they saw that the demand was much more for the deluxe. And why shouldn't there be?
Sure.
Like, there was much more value in a deluxe model compared to the basic.
Yeah.
You know what I want, though? I kind of want a deluxe, like, guts, but I want a white console. I don't really want it to be black, but there's no real option for that.
What do you got against a black console, Tony?
Nah, just because the Wii's white. It's the only one that's not black.
That's true.
So it's kind of nice. Just it's different.
Although apparently at Microsoft, the people inside Microsoft have white Xbox Ones, so that's interesting.
Microsoft employees get white Xbox Ones. That's great for Microsoft employees.
Yeah.
Anyway, this news comes with the announcement that it is starting on September 20th with the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD bundle. So for $300 when the price drop first happens, you get the deluxe version of the Wii U, where your tablet has special Hyrule and Triforce markings. You get a digital voucher to download the Wind Waker HD, and you get a digital version of Hyrule Historia, all for $300. Interesting move also.
I think the Wind Waker game is going to be like pre-installed. I think is what I read.
I thought I read it was a download voucher card, which would make more sense when you consider that the digital version of the Wind Waker HD is out on September 20th on the eShop, but the disc comes out on October 4th. So the digital version, you get a couple week head start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, interesting move. I think it's necessary to start getting Wii U sales up. It's a pretty critical holiday season when you only have 1.5 million US sales almost a year in, and you have a lot of third parties backing out in that cruel dichotomy of, well, we'll make games when you have sales and console sales and an install base, but you don't have that. But you need the install base to grow by having more games, and that loop, that's a catch-22. So you got to get sales increase, and it's a price drop within the first year. It's not as soon as the 3DS was. Those who bought it early had the advantage of playing the Wii U and the games, granted, albeit disappointingly few, that it did have for this 10-month period or so. But it's good to see them put a good bundle out there. Wind Waker HD is a good game to bundle that with. I know I'm really excited to get that, and it's gotta move the consoles like that. You gotta do it.
I know. I think I heard Dark was bitching about, and I think just that he's kind of screwed because he wants Zelda physically, and he has to wait longer, and it's kind of screwing him in that way.
Well, I'm in the same boat as well. I would prefer the hard copy of Wind Waker HD, the retail disc, but you gotta weigh that advantage.
I don't like the markings on the gamepad.
Oh, interesting.
It's not bad. I just personally wouldn't want that on mine. And I want a physical copy of Wind Waker. So it's kind of like, well, at least that's a price drop. That's really good. I do intend to try to get one for Christmas or something, but this is a good move. And also I think Nintendo's really loving digital because there's a huge thing that they don't have to make hard copies of the disc to make it for the bundle.
It's a full profit.
Yep, it's full profit. Just like, here, give this to them and they'll buy a console. It's good.
Now, Super, you're
Yeah.
looking forward to Wind Waker.
I am because of that Redux Triforce quest. So I might
Which
actually
I
beat
have
the game
seen,
this time.
I've seen
And
video of it too.
if I can make some good money between now and then, I will be picking up one of these.
Nice. Yeah,
And
it's more than just the revised streamlined Triforce quest. There's also a Swift
Faster sailing.
Sail item.
By
Yeah,
the
you
way,
can-
I was reading about that. There was an interview, and they said, and this is a pro tip, way beforehand, that after the first dungeon, the sale will be available in, I think Windfall Island is what it's called, right?
Yep, the auction house.
Yeah, he said right after the first dungeon, but there will not be a prompt. Go get that right after you do that.
Mm-hmm.
okay, first dungeon, go to Windfall, pick that thing up,
Yes.
and I will have all the good times.
Oh yeah, dude.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna get is that bundle, so I can have the system all good and ready and available, and then I can go and play Wonderful 101 and kind of use that virtual console over the other one that came out for the Wii. I just hate the Wii controller, so it's gonna be nice to play some games on the actual Wii U controller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll have buttons.
I'm gonna buy a pro controller too. I'm curious
Oh,
what
yeah.
works and what doesn't. Does like Wind Waker work without? Do you have to use the gamepad?
That is a question that it should be asked.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can you
Wii U
can
Pro-
you play Wind Waker with the pro controller?
You probably could. It wouldn't
Maybe.
surprise me if, you could.
Can you play Pikmin on it?
You could use the Pro Controller, yeah.
Dark says you can. Okay.
Okay.
I'm interested because I know Nintendo just kind of made that for Call of Duty, so I didn't know if they were screwing with it at all. Shake.
No,
this
they're going to
Donkey
need to
Kong,
use it
Donkey
for
Kong.
Smash Brothers, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
they better.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not all that torn up about using the Wii U Pro controller.
That's a good,
Oh,
good
it's
controller. You just got to get used to the
it's
inverted of the stick in the face buttons on the right side. So
Right.
Yeah, Dark. I wouldn't
more
play
of a-
Pikmin with it. I was just curious if they, bothered to support it or not.
It's just a matter of flicking my hand the other way to do smash attacks or something.
Mm.
Other games that were announced because they talked about release dates and all that. Mario 3D World comes out on November 22nd, as does Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds for 3DS, which, gorgeous box art, by the way. Get a chance to check that out when you can. 'Cause
Which one?
that looks really nice, the 3DS Zelda Link Between Worlds. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, I believe, is December 6th for Wii U.
Yep.
Yeah, so Wii U's getting games.
Yeah, a lot of Nintendo news that they just seem to drop out of nowhere. And that was really surprising. And
Wii Party U, October 25th as well.
woohoo.
Yeah.
Island.
It's a thing. It's coming bundled
Is
with a
it
Wii.
online?
Probably not. It's being bundled with a Wii controller though, so that's always nice.
Also, there are rumors that a Nintendo Direct is coming in mid-September, like the 14th-ish, that something might be happening with Nintendo and Capcom, which wouldn't be surprising because there's, talk and trailers and whatnot coming out of Japan about Monster Hunter 4. So would not be surprised to see that, discussed more. And then, certain things like we need Ace Attorney Dual Destiny's release date. They've announced it's a decreased price, 25 euros, I believe, so probably going to be around $30, which is nice for the States, but we still got to hear release date. So more Nintendo Directs would be nice, but this was a lot of Nintendo news.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Sonic Lost World, October 22nd, and they still get Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs later too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, and
Yep,
Rayman,
and-
finally.
Apparently, there's something Scribblenauts Unmasked, a DC Comics adventure.
Yep.
What is that?
I don't know.
So
but
it's
it's
a new-
big.
That's the first time I've heard about it.
Really, that was talked about at E3. So it's a new Scribblenauts game where they took basically almost all the characters from DC's existence and put them in there, probably on top of all the other Scribblenauts things that you can do.
Neat.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Then Gamescom happened, as we get to our our last headline here. So let's start with Sony here, because Sony actually had a press conference presence, and they announced the news of the PlayStation 4 release date. Despite it being in Europe, they talked about worldwide release dates, at least for the West. PlayStation 4 is coming to North America on November 15th. 29th in Europe. No mention of Japan. The price is still staying the same. $400 for the States, €399, £349. So that
I
was.
just don't know how I'm going to afford this entire block of months. I've got
It takes
the Wii
budget
U.
and it takes planning.
I meant to say during the Wii U release date games, did you guys see the headline where Reggie said just kind of about the lineup for the other two?
Well, it makes sense when you think about it. They've really built up the Wii U's lineup for this year. However, they have had a year to do so. So it's kind of a half.
Some people are giving him crap for that. I'm like, yeah, the Wii U's launch wasn't that great either. But this year, I completely agree. PS4, Xbox One, they can wait. Xbox One, probably never. But
those two are surprisingly decent launch lineups. But yeah, it's a half-truth when you're comparing those launch lineups to the lineup of a software, a software library of a system that's been out for a year. So a little disingenuous.
Like, if you haven't picked that up, I'm going to pick a Wii U up this Christmas. PS4, wait till some really solid games come out next year, and then I'll pick one up.
Sure.
There's no hurry for that at the moment.
Yeah. That's kind of where I am right now. I like that Watch Dogs comes out at my birthday, though. That's kind of neat.
That's a nice touch, yeah. Not only did we get a release date for PlayStation 4, the other struggling system in the video game world also got a price cut. PlayStation Vita is down to $200.
Yay.
And it's a good thing. They are trying to push more games onto it.
How's that going?
Could be better.
Yeah.
I'm happy I have one. And here's the deal. If you have a Vita, it's a great piece of technology. It's a great system to play games on. A lot of people who have PlayStation Vitas are actually happy that they have one. But for those to buy one, there's kind of that high price wall, and also that thing of, not too many interesting games. So that's a big issue.
The PS3
has no game.
The PS3 connectability is like really cool, but
the PS4,
and that too. If you gave one to me, then I'd totally use it, but I don't really want to. It has nothing exclusive on it. I'm not too worried about it.
So I'm really happy that I have my PlayStation Vita, but it's going to take a certain kinds of games to get people to go out and buy one. But the price drop helps. Again, it's something they had to do. Although I doubt, I think for both Nintendo and Sony, they were making losses, probably some slight losses on these systems already, and then they go cut the price even more. It's a risky move, but they need sales, and that's a way to stimulate that.
Yep. $300 for a Wii U with 2 games packed in, and Hyrule Historia. That's pretty
I don't know
good.
About 2 games packed in. I don't think it comes to Nintendo Land.
I'm almost certain it does.
Does it?
I thought it did.
That would be a really good deal if it does.
I seem to recall them mentioning that, Nintendo Land. I'll just look up the thing.
Go for it. The big thing from Sony's press conference at Gamescom, because Microsoft did have, news that they released to the media and made their presence known, but not through an actual stage show. PlayStation stole 2 exclusives, if you like to call it that, perceived advantages that the Xbox One had over the PlayStation 4, and one that I was particular with, and I had admitted in the past, I said the one thing I will give Xbox One credit over PlayStation 4 is that they have Twitch.tv integration, which is what we do use to not only stream game footage, but also our podcasts here on twitch.tv/showmeyournews. Well, now PlayStation 4 has Twitch support as well, which makes sense because Twitch wants to get themselves out there and try to, lend their services out to anyone who will pay them money to do so. So it really makes sense.
Do you think there was a thing where Microsoft paid them X amount of dollars, like, all right, Don't let Sony do it unless they pay you a lot.
Wouldn't
looks like
surprise me.
Nintendo Land. Nuts.
No Nintendo
What?
Land? Oh, that's sad.
Well, I don't see anything about it. I mean, we could still have it, but I doubt it.
You'd hope, because if it's the deluxe system, well, that'll be something to investigate.
We'll figure that out later, yeah.
It'll have that 10% off thing still. So.
But yeah, Twitch on PlayStation 4 is huge. I think it's still also Ustream as well. So for those that want to do both or one, I just know for my purposes and for a lot of people who use Twitch out there, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stealing Twitch, kind of a dick move, but something that needed to happen.
Well, maybe the bigger dick move is Microsoft had a little game for Xbox Live Arcade that was very popular for them. It started on PC. You all know it as Minecraft. And they made a big deal when Minecraft was also coming to the Xbox One. Well, not just making more money, in that Minecraft is coming to PlayStation 4 as well.
Yoink.
I mean, these two...
But isn't it like the hardware version? Like, people don't like that as much, do they?
I think there's some popularity for it. You don't get as much customization with mods and whatnot compared to the PC version. But from what I hear, especially with the updates that have come to it, it runs just fine. It works.
I'm sure it works, but I've heard a lot of people just say the PC experience is just generally better.
I
But
don't think that's
a good thing to say.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's very popular. People like it.
No, that's great. I'm happy about it.
And it's just a big steal. I mean, Sony went out and took these supposed exclusives from the Xbox One, and that's big. That really surprised me.
It's like, I don't know if they needed to because they don't have as much over there. So it's kind of like, they just get Halo, they're just going to win.
It's all coming down to the idea that, after the Xbox 180 and everything, these two systems are so similar right now.
They should just trade things. Like, give us Halo, we'll give you God of War.
And deal. Slam the gavel down. So in hindsight, the awful DRM and whatnot aside, it would have been interesting to see Xbox One try something different. They still could in the future. But at launch, it's amazing the original visions and what it's whittled down to, how these two are so similar. They're neck and neck right now, essentially.
And it's really just a battle of exclusives. Halo and Gears of War versus... I can't even say Uncharted anymore.
Nothing at launch.
Yeah, I'm just like, as far as PS4 is concerned, what are their heavy hitters that are exclusive?
Their first-party games at launch are Knack, Drive
I
Club,
have no care about
and
that.
Killzone Shadowfall.
Drive Club. Is that the really cool one where you can drive across the U.S.?
No, that's the Crew from Ubisoft.
But that's not fair
Right.
either, though, because Halo and Gears aren't coming out at launch either.
Well, no, I wasn't even talking about launch. I was just talking in general.
Oh, overall,
Like,
in general, then you also have Infamous. You have the Order 1886. I was talking about things at launch.
No, I was talking about things in general. I'm just like, Halo and Gears of War, because, I've always played with the Xbox, and those are the two kind of games that I liked. But I'm trying to think about the the PlayStation brand. Uncharted's pretty much done.
Not necessarily. Wait for
Okay,
VGAs.
No way.
Naughty Dog is
Yeah.
going to announce their game at VGAs more than likely. That's what they've done for the past couple of years. So
Okay,
look
it's
for
just that
I hope
as far as series
I
are
hope that new
concerned.
Ratchet game ends on a cliffhanger. Like, I get PS4. I'll be like, you bastards.
Well, you got to think of it this way too. With the new games, at launch for a new system launch, both companies are not going to pull out their heavy hitters. You
Which is
want
too bad,
you want
They
more
should.
You want a heavy hitter,
Of
but
course,
they're not going to
of
happen.
course. But you want the install base in place with sales and a proven track record before you dump all the money into developing, those big AAA titles. So you got to wait a little bit for Halo, for Gears, for Uncharted, whatever Naughty Dog is doing next or still working on. At least for Sony, every studio is working on a PS4 game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sonic's going on Wii U, so I gotta go that way first.
Speaking of Microsoft, then they came out with the list of their launch games. Granted, several of them are multi-platform games. You have the Assassin's Creed and the Watch Dogs, Just Dance, and you have the sports games as well, Call of Duty Ghosts. Ones that stands out, Fighter Within is a Kinect game, Crimson Dragon is the one that the sound didn't work at E3.
Halo 2.
Dead Rising 3, Forza 5. Let's see. Loco Cycle is the one that was talked about a couple E3s ago that kind of pushed its way back here. Peggle 2. Rise Son of Rome, which is not the QuickTime event crapfest that we were apparently... We thought it was that because of media reports and whatnot, but it actually apparently has some depth. Go figure. Out of the two launch lineups, Xbox One, I believe, is actually looking pretty... It's the stronger of the two. Because of those, launch exclusives. Because you just have more in general.
I just want to play The Crew. That looked so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that Need for Speed game is. I haven't looked that up.
That one looked fine. But The Crew really...
It's the follow-up from Hot Pursuit. So that one is probably going to be, the good team that makes it. I think Criterion is the one that's doing that. I don't know, Ghost Games? I don't know what Ghost Games are. It seems to be borrowing the Hot Pursuit formula. That's the deal there. Not only do you have the launch titles, but the ID at Xbox Indie plan, the independent developers, where apparently Microsoft is going to reach out to these indie developers, try to get them to work, closely with Xbox One, which it's a good start, but it kind of pales in comparison when, at Sony's conference, they brought out indie after indie after indie after indie who come to PlayStation to want to work on, as opposed to Microsoft reaching out to
guys.
developers.
Get over here.
But,
How awesome do you think it was for those guys to be on an E3 stage?
Well,
to promote their
Gamescom,
game?
Europe's E3, yes, that's a big deal. And it's a public show at Gamescom, so you have, more people coming to play your games than just, industry people.
Yep.
The other big news for Xbox One was the announcement that with their, cloud technology, when you're connected online and whatnot, the ability to have dedicated servers for Call of Duty Ghosts. That's a big deal for those people who play that game. You're not relying on person-to-person connections. You have probably some more customization through dedicated servers. I'm really taking it from Sword Hunter here, who has played, first-person shooter online games, that dedicated servers are a big deal. And when you have the DLC exclusivity on, Xbox One with Call of Duty and Microsoft and that connection there, it's looking like that might be the better experience for that game.
Yeah.
For all the people who play it that are not us.
But
No,
also
but it's
those
still a
people won't
hefty-
read about this.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of the biggest thing. It's just like, those people, they're not us. They're a hefty amount, but they probably didn't even hear that. They probably have no idea that's even a thing.
Yo, man, is that new Call of Duty out?
Yeah,
that
just like with Madden.
Is that new Grand Theft Auto V out yet, man?
Yeah, not for your X-Bone or your
Is it?
PS4.
Hey,
Peaceful.
I have to ask, because you probably know, are they just calling this new Madden 25?
Yes, they are.
They're not calling it, like, the year?
Nope, because it's the 25th anniversary of Madden.
I
So
get that,
it's
but
not-
there should be like a subtitle or something.
Right, it's not Madden NFL 14 25th anniversary or Madden 25th anniversary special edition or anything like that. It's let's screw ourselves over for the year 2025 when we can't call it Madden NFL 25.
Yeah.
It's super dumb, I know.
It'll be comma 25.
Yeah.
Apostrophe or whatever.
Oh gosh, how could I forget the Xbox One launch title, Killer Instinct? Which I don't know if you guys saw the price point on that. It was confirmed before that it's a free-to-play game with one character. Well, they're getting up to 8 playable characters total.
Yeah.
I think it's something like $6 per character a la carte.
Ugh.
For $20, you can buy all the characters. You know, just have all the characters playables for $20. And for $40, the kind of, you know, full edition where you have all the characters and more skins, and you also get the original Killer Instinct arcade game.
Well, honestly, like, I understand the free-to-play model kind of sucks, but they're not mathing very well.
No.
I'm
Here's
sorry,
8
Killer
characters.
Instinct fans.
Buy one for $6, but you can buy them all for $20. I'm like, that's not as good as it. This is
It
bad.
should be. Yeah.
Well, don't worry. It'll all be over soon.
Oh.
Oh, yes, I went there. Oh, I went there.
It's re-recorded
That
in the
happened.
same room. It'll be like high fives all around.
Or people in the audience laughing, yes.
Or there'll be a laughing sound, and everyone will just kind of be uncomfortably looking left and right.
Our hilarity of the week comes to us from CNBC, where they had a feature that was a hot topic of, did Call of Duty kill chivalry? Because all the men who play Call of Duty and they stay at home and they play these video games, they
What
bring in this...
is a video game?
Are they making them, you know, not as chivalrous to women? Not as attractive to women? So they bring on this online dating expert, and you gotta watch the video, and we'll have it in our show notes here. She's from a matchmaking website, and saying that, you know, this Call of Duty game, it's a solo activity. It's demolishing our economy, creating a split between the game and the real world. It's tearing people apart.
Selling badly, sir.
No.
Very much a multiplayer activity.
You say no.
You say no. It's very much a more than one person activity because you're going to be getting very mad at several people.
Well, yeah, especially when you play online, which is what most people do.
The girl can play. She just gets mad and says, "Oh, he's not paying attention to me."
Granted, you did have another woman who was on the other side of the argument who said, you know, people are going to find things to, you know, take up their free time. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
People can just do whatever they want. And when you consider that you had 2 female guests and you also had a female hosts, they even made reference to the fact that it was like, oh, it's just going to be us girls, you know, just talking about, you know, men in their video games. Like, that's exactly what this is. You're making a joke of a kind of a reference to what you're doing, but it turned out to be exactly what you're doing. It's a frustrating video to watch, and it's hilariously bad.
Guys, pay attention to girls more.
Seriously, if you're lucky enough to have them, in fact,
girls, sometimes your guy's gonna play video games. It's okay.
In fact, just don't play Call of Duty.
Huh.
I'm not telling you.
Play Mario. It's cool.
I'm not just being like, yeah, don't play that game. It's bad, but.
Have you tried Kirby's Epic Yarn? Your girlfriend would probably love it.
She'd love it.
She'd be happy times.
I would, you know, it's a good chance she'll love it. How about that? Let's not go into speak absolutes here. But it's another case of
hobbies.
Well, it's another case of Call of Duty fans, and like, because it's the popular thing right now. And gosh, you had another story that happened where, really frustrating story where an 8-year-old was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and his 90 or 92-year-old grandmother was watching him. A gun is sitting out. The 8-year-old puts a bullet in the back of the grandmother's head. You know, after a session of Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto 4. You know, let's not look at the fact that a gun was sitting out unprotected, loaded. Let's not pay attention to the fact that an 8-year-old was playing a mature game like Grand Theft Auto 4. Let's talk about the video games and how they can cause aggression, and let's ignore all the other important social issues. I mean, when things get popular enough and it's...
Why did they get that kid Kirby's Epic Yarn?
Back to Epic Yarn. It's just very frustrating when the mass media ends up being so ignorant about something that is becoming more and more prevalent in today's media society. But let's not blame parents. Let's not do that. because that would mean responsibility.
Somebody should just go on and just get interviewed after they do something horrible and blame video games and be like, it's because they won't make Mega Man 11. Won't make Legends 3, they canceled it.
Yes, it's all part of the plan. All right, we're going to get to our story pool where you have extra stories here. Pokémon Monster, the origin. Pokemon The Origin is looking to be a special from the anime in Japan. Totally different art style, going back to Kanto. Not Ash Ketchum.
It's red.
It's red and it's blue. And
it's a good time bio.
Indeed.
And it's a special. And it's not a series, and it's a special.
Now, we could say, WTF Pokemon, part of the Show Me Your News network, would be all into this, but since we're on Show Me Your News and we're into video game news, what? Oh, yeah, it is green over there because they had red and green. Here it's blue.
Yeah.
We're referring, I guess, to the American names when there's not even a dub confirmed.
It's that, you know what? It's always been red, but it's always been Gary to me.
Gary was here. Ash is a loser. Well, because we are a video game news podcast, the interesting thing appears at the end of this trailer, where we have this screenshot of what looks like could be a Wii U game. You have
Weird.
Mega Lucario, or just Lucario. It's hard to tell from the
I think
reverse.
it's Lucario and
That would be Mega Blaziken, though. I think. Gosh,
Who cares?
It's so overexposed and really tough to tell. Anyway, there's a fighting sign in the upper right-hand corner on something that might be a balloon. This is apparently something that
it's regular.
is of
It's regular Lucario and regular Blaziken, by the way.
Okay. Well, I don't
You
know.
can tell
They
'cause-
both had
'cause-
mega forms that were already announced
Yeah.
before this happened. And this was also
Mega-
part of a history of Pokemon thing. So this is making people wonder, is this a possible new game? What could it be? Even if it's conceptual, you're looking at two things here. You have a possible sequel to Battle Revolution on the Wii, which would make sense. It's been a couple generations since that kind of stadium-like game happened, so that would be a good thing to have. Or you have the registration of trademarks like Pokken Fighters and Pokken Tournament. Maybe plans for a Pokemon fighting game, especially with the two fighting types and the fighting logo. So just something to make mention of, this is something that's going on. We'll see how it develops. It all kind of started here, though. Very interesting to note.
I want that special to just replace the original show.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It looks so good.
That'd be great.
Or the Black 2 White 2 animated teaser that was out.
Yeah? Or you mean X and Y?
I believe it was Black 2 and White 2.
Because they're moving on to X and Y, so...
Well, I mean, there was a teaser that, I'm almost certain it was Black 2, White 2. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think I have a YouTube recommendation. I'm gonna grab it.
Sounds good. Also, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out with their official 1-minute trailer today, but didn't make as much of a splash as the announcement of Grand Theft Auto Online.
That was quick.
Which looks almost like a separate game entirely, something that Rockstar will continue putting work into to develop Grand Theft Auto Online. It's going to be integrated into Grand Theft Auto 5 as you're going to have a character wheel because you get to switch between multiple characters, the idea of 3 protagonists in GTA 5. And this multiplayer character that you get to customize and everything will just be another character to add on that wheel that you get to switch perspectives to. The more interesting thing is that Grand Theft Auto Online is free, comes with every copy of the game, does not seem to have any online pass associated with it.
Neat.
And the more intriguing thing, it comes out on October 1st, 2 weeks after GTA 5 comes out.
Interesting. I thought you were gonna put on here that the soundtrack got leaked. Did you see that?
That did get leaked, and that looks to be very, very good.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad leak, but it's funny. Sony came out. I think Sony did it on their store or something, and like somebody
Yeah.
found the soundtrack, and
They
then
did
Sony
a
was all
preloading
like,
sort of thing, and so they were rooting through the data. Different people were investigating that. That's kind of what happened there.
and then Sony was all like, "Oops,
Our
They're like,
bad.
bad, yeah." Like,
Well,
it's-
it's
did it silly.
interesting to think of why Grand Theft Auto Online would come out 2 weeks after, and I heard the perspective that I think makes a lot of sense and really might be the reason. It's a very clever way to extend the basically holding on to of the purchased games to try to prevent the return kickback. If
Yep.
you have
Yeah.
people playing the game for a couple weeks and then a couple weeks after that, hey, here's this brand new thing that is totally expansive that we're going to try to hook our teeth into you and make sure you hold on to that game. That makes a lot of sense than just having it right outside of the box. Or just, right out of
Yeah.
the box.
they know their audience.
It's a
Also,
really
the
smart, clever move.
Also, the fact that it's good because 6 probably won't come out for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Give them something to do in the meantime.
Although people are just going to want this game on PC, and that's the biggest outcry amongst that community, it seems. Otherwise, the game's looking to be great.
I can't wait. I'm really excited for it.
I've never been excited for a Grand Theft Auto game, and looking at that online trailer, hype.
Yep.
Are any of you fans of PewDiePie?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
Good, me neither. Except he's now YouTube's most subscribed channel.
Yep.
So, good job, Internet.
Moving on.
Congratulations.
Throw this in while we're in the story pool. They had a little trailer for FF10 HD. They showed footage of the original game and then the HD version, and they remixed all the music. So that seems to be a Square thing when they do their HD things, because they're doing it with Kingdom Hearts as well, is to reorchestrate all the music. And damn, that's awesome.
I liked how the remade battle music for FF10 sounded. That sounded really good. If you want an interesting video, though, about how PewDiePie came to dominate YouTube, check out Game Theory. Great series on YouTube by Matthew Patrick. He has an episode dedicated to how PewDiePie dominated YouTube, and he was in second place on the all-time subscriber rankings at that time, and he kind of made the prediction, based on these statistics and this reasoning, that he would think that within a month, PewDiePie would become the most subscribed channel. That happened in 27 days. Really good stuff from Game Theory. But yeah, I know some people in the community like PewDiePie. Never watched any of his things. I really don't care. And then
That's
when
why
I
I feel
saw
weird about this. I feel like a YouTube game person connoisseur, and I'm like, why am I not even knowing this person who's the most well-known person out of everybody?
Well, because he has an extremely irrational fan base sometimes, and then he's also an individual who, after looking at clips of his playthrough of The Walking Dead,
Hardly racist.
is loud, racist, homophobic, or at least makes those kind of jokes, and that's awful.
I just got a
Yeah,
street
try.
pass.
So anyway, those are the story pools here. Goodness, how much time we have left in the show. Got about 20 minutes left as we get into the out recently games. We're starting to turn into fall here, where a lot of games come out. It starts with Splinter Cell Blacklist. That game where at E3 at the Microsoft conference they were playing with the Kinect and say, "Hey, over here! Oh, I'm gonna go do something." That Kinect voice technology, but apparently the game is quite good.
The main character.
Game is quite good. Yeah, they changed the voice of the main character. That's unfortunate.
Ooh.
Is it Kiefer?
It is not Kiefer. I don't know who it is, but it's not Michael Ironside. And for an older Sam Fisher, getting a younger voice actor, that makes sense.
Reasonings.
Another very good game that is being, praised is Saints Row 4. You're the
Superhero
president.
edition.
Yeah, superhero president. Keith David's in it. So that always gives it extra bonus points.
I looked up footage of this because I realized it was a big deal and I had no idea what it was, and it looked beautifully insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I might get to this eventually.
I mean, people loved Saints Row the Third. It's no surprise that they've knocked it out of the park again over at Volition with Saints Row 4. Another one that people were talking up before this game's launched, and I've heard nothing about it since, is The Bureau XCOM Declassified. It kind of, I guess, strays from the XCOM strategy perspective, and I think this might... No, oh gosh, I really don't know much about this because I did not like XCOM Enemy Unknown, although they came out or announced Enemy Within, which is a full expansion coming at the end of the year, and that was at... Where did they announce that at? It was something that happened recently, but that's happening.
I know nothing about the XCOM series, only that a lot of my friends ended up with like their 6-unit teams, and they were all ponies all the time.
Mm.
That's what I remember most from XCOM. It's just like everyone that I talked to who played it always had a team of 6 females who were named after the ponies.
You run with a good crowd, clearly.
This is the best crowd. It's a crowd of friendship and magic.
Mm. Dive Kick started as a parody of
I'm sorry,
fighting
did you
games.
say that right?
Dive Kick!
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Dive Kick started as a parody of fighting games.
You did it wrong again.
I'm not going to say it every time.
No.
But apparently it's not too bad. It's got some silly humor. It started out with characters Dive and Kick, and they expanded it to more characters. But that game's out now and has a bit of silliness with especially who the final boss is. No spoils, though. Disney Infinity came out. That's the near-field communication. Buy the toys that are really expensive and play in a world of different Disney characters or something like that.
And also, we need to have an intermission with Wuggles. I don't know if you've been following his Twitter feed, but
Yes.
he's got a problem.
He does. Wuggles, this is an intervention. You gotta stop buying, all these different characters.
Oh my god.
They apparently are gonna have the Lone Ranger toys to bring into this Disney Infinity world.
That's a shame. That bombed
that's
really
just
bad.
a sign of why they made the movie, because that movie bombed badly.
So good.
Yeah, and the toys are
Like,
just,
take that, Hollywood. Stop being stupid. Stop
Mhm.
making Smurfs movies.
Tony, do you know anything about Lost Planet 3?
No, I didn't know it was out. I didn't know it was being made.
Exactly.
Inafune left, so I can't imagine it's that great. Been screwing up all their... You're trying to get Super back.
I'm trying to, yeah, sorry.
Come on.
That's why I'm trying to distract you.
I'm sorry. It's just really funny. I'm just watching you do it.
Mhm.
NFL 25's out, Madden.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
There's a video online of this guy trading every copy of Madden for 25, which you should totally check out. He's like super awkward, and he gets like $7.50 for every copy of Madden ever.
Well, yeah, those
So
old
funny.
ones are really old. I'm gonna keep trying to add Super back to the call.
Do it.
Killer is Dead is Suda51's new game, not being received so well, and then you get headlines of articles that I don't care to read that say something to the extent of, in order to get better guns in the game, you need to stare at women's breasts. So,
Oh. I did that anyway.
Japan, Suda51. I know it's terrible just to present that as the kind of flame bait headline that it is, but when you aren't caring as much about the game as someone who might follow Suda51's work religiously, these are the kind of things we're seeing about the game, and oh yeah, great.
Stop it. Pokemon Rumble U, tell me about this, because I don't even...
Well, it just came out today, and it's based off of the Rumble series, which they had one on 3DS. This one apparently includes all the Pokemon. It's also the first one for Nintendo first-party games that include the near-field communications. Just like the Disney Infinity toys, you also have Pokemon toys that are exclusive at GameStop.
Why is Pokemon the last one on this bandwagon?
You'd think it would be one of the first, and you'd think they'd come out with much more games. But this is apparently eShop exclusive. I think around $15. So probably a pretty good deal at that price when you consider Rumble Blast for 3DS was $40 full.
Fair shot, or Virtual, or I don't know how you say your name in the chat. He says he just wants the toys.
That's a good
I
idea.
feel like is a fair endeavor. I threw this on here, but Final Fantasy 14, or what is it, A Realm Reborn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that came out. It's pretty. I was reading about the development a little bit earlier. Apparently, they started it from scratch. I think it's the same game, but they had to like start everything over.
Yeah, because
Apparently-
the first one was just not good.
Apparently, the people who did 14 were the people who did 12, because it's that same kind of online world, and it was bad.
11
and
was
they
the online one, right? Not 12.
Oh yeah, 11. 12 is a weird one too. And they just kept like, well, it's okay. It's Final Fantasy. We're fine. And so the guy who took it over was like the Dragon's Quest. Like he developed a Dragon's Quest or directed one recently, and he was like, no, this is hurting the brand. This is very bad. And he like went out to make this game good. And from what I hear, it's getting a lot of good reception. So I might even check it out after a while. I mean, it's like PS3 and it's pretty easy to get.
Mm.
I might check it out. Just also Nobuo did the music, came back to do this.
There you go. That's always a good sign.
That's always a very good sign. Even when 14 came out and it sucked, I downloaded the soundtrack. I'm like, this is really good.
Where is Super? Super is having a very difficult time trying to come back to the chat. Which is unfortunate because I'll just go right and do my soapbox because goodness, we have not much time left in the show. And I'm just like 5 minutes if we can. My soapbox, trying to keep it quick. I was going to talk about my grad school thesis, creative project that I'm doing, but I have to wait until next episode to share. I'm sorry, I just had to get things finalized with my advisor. But I think everyone who listens to the show or is interested in video game news will really, really like it. And Super and Tony, you're both going to be involved. You just don't know it yet. Anyway.
How's that a thing?
It'll make sense in time. It'll make sense.
You have hours of voices from us. You can edit horribly.
Not that, no. I think it's a good time to announce because I've seen other people do so with their respective shows and whatnot. The Show Me Your News Network is going to have 2 panels once again at Youmacon 2013. We are going to have the Show Me Your News, the year in video games panel like we had last year. We're going to, try to, have some little improvements and whatnot. But, we're going to have the same kind of show, which is a lot of fun. And also, WTF Pokemon will also be back at Youmacon.
We're having 3. Do not forget Read the Manual. They're doing a panel.
They got a panel?
I think they told me they were.
Oh. Well, in that case, if Read the Manual did get accepted for a panel,
I'm pretty positive they did.
then that is awesome. And all the more power to the Show Me Your News Network at Youmacon. I cannot confirm or deny that they have been accepted.
I'm pretty positive they have. They were pretty nervous about it, if I recall correctly. Should be funny.
I know we found out about these a few months ago because we were one of the first people to apply, and we had precedents from last year. But those did get confirmed a while ago. I've seen people start to talk about, oh yeah, we're confirming it and it's happening. I'm like, oh well, we might as well do that as well. Speaking of WTF Pokemon as well, so the plan for Youmacon is to have Pokemon Heroes out for that convention, which is the 5th movie. We still have yet to do Forever, Pokemon Forever, the 4th movie. But then it means we still have to do Pokemon Mewtwo Returns. That is very close to being done. We are hoping to release that this weekend. So I can also confirm that we're in the final stages of finalizing Mewtwo Returns. That should be out this weekend. And Life Holy crap, my life is going to be ridiculous this semester. So not only full-time work, all of the Show Me Your News and other podcast things. The basement is coming along, but that is taking up a bunch of free time. And now with this grad school thesis. Life is not fun. I apologize if it gets in the way of certain things. Oh yeah, and then on top of it all, Youmacon planning with panels and whatnot. So, my life, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to complain much, but in case
He's busy.
a little more absent than usual, I'm trying to keep everything together. So,
That's cool, man. No one's getting on you.
comment from the Debaga, apparently in quotes, we're planning on having a panel. I didn't know submissions were open. I'm not sure if they are to the public yet either, but I'm speaking as someone who was able to apply because they had panels last year. So
they're trying. So
they're trying. Tuned. So maybe we might have 3 from the Show Me News Network, but can confirm we do have 2 Show Me News Network panels.
I will not be doing a Superplex one because it'll just be me. It'll just be yesing in a microphone for an hour. No one will watch that.
And I'll go Super Dragon. What's your soapbox?
That'd be great. It's hard to say. It's got a lot to play. I'm like inverse of you. I'm working a lot. And I'm trying to save money. So if you generally want to know about life and all that, I'm trying to save. I want to get a new place next year, hopefully. But I'll talk about this real quick. Did you see the Sonic Lost Worlds bonus edition that they announced?
I think I did, but please tell me more about it.
It's pretty much, I think it's just got DLC on it, but the Deadly Six or whatever those bosses are called, they're going to have boss fights with characters or monsters from Knights in them, which is really cool. I haven't played Knights, but I think I'm going to make a point after Mario maybe to play through that before I get back to Kirby.
They had the HD re-release that came out at the same time as Sonic Adventure 2, so yeah.
I have it. It's like on my PS3, I just haven't gotten to it. I have a few things on my PS3, I haven't gotten to it.
Oh, by the way, PlayStation Plus for this month, the benefits, you have the Resident Evil Chronicles HD, which has Dark Side and Umbrella Chronicles. You also have Eco on PS3. And then Vita gets Rayman Origins for free.
Wow.
And, gosh, one other game that was quite... Oh, you have Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which was a PSP game, I believe. So, good stuff this month. PlayStation Plus.
Oh, yeah. Really
killing it with the on-demand games, instant games. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just kind of just talking stuff. I got Klonoa on my PS3 because Cat Akers did a review of that, and I bought Klonoa 2 preemptively too for PS2. Yeah, that's tough. I was gonna. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna pay off and buy Sonic Lost World even before I have a Wii U. Just to have the bonus edition.
Hey, he's back.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
Well, we don't either.
My computer locked down. I reached for my phone. My phone was dead, and it just happened again. I think.
We still hear you.
All right. Yeah, like everything just kind of just died on my end.
Do you have anything more to your soapbox, Tony?
I'm good. I was just kind of talking about stuff. But yeah, super.
Well, while he's here, we might as well get super soapbox.
Real quick, bro.
It's okay. I just closed a bunch of stuff that like bogs down my computer, so.
This is an important soapbox, so listen up.
Yeah, so in case you haven't been paying attention to Smash stuff, the communities around Smash Brothers, All Is Brawl, Smash Boards, the Project M website, and it's starting to stretch to other Smash-related websites like Apex 2013, or actually it's 2014 now, and the Big House tournament pages are seeing some of this. This is a DDoS attack against Smash everything. And quite frankly, we have no idea where it's coming from. It has just been quiet from any of the attackers, basically. And DDoS, I believe, starts for like a dedicated denial service, or yeah,
When your traffic becomes too high.
yeah. Someone is using a botnet or something to basically take down all these sites. And I mean, it's so bad that even after getting things like Cloudflare, which is a DDoS defensive website, paying them to defend their website from a DDoS attack, it's failing. Smashboards has still gone down numerous times, and they're trying everything they can to get things back up and running. And this is really staling a lot of things, like, the smaller Smash tournaments that need these websites to run. It needs to get their names out there, needs to get the times, the date and times out there, and nobody knows what's going on, why this is happening. Like, nobody's come out and said why. It's just something that is happening.
And it's really unnerving as, a podcast who has their roots at Smashboards and in the Smash community. I mean, like, we still try to be involved with them, and that's unsettling to see.
Yeah, I'm just really unsure what's been going on and why it's been going on. Like, I bring up Cloudflare again, the website they're using to stop this DDoS from really affecting the website. All of the settings are on high. It is on the highest security alert it can go and still the website is down. And some people are saying it's your website, it's your web browser, stuff like that. No, just everyone just can't get on. And this like I mentioned, it's stretched over to Project M. Can't get on the Project M website. You can't get on All Is Brawl and the All Is something network. I don't know if it's affected the others, but I'm pretty sure it might have.
What if it's Sakurai?
Yes, it is Sakurai.
Because he's got those skills while making a game.
He can do it one-handed, apparently.
Yeah, dude.
Darkrai mentions in the Twitch chat it comes at the same time as the Ask Me Anything, the AMA on Reddit with Mango.
The war
and
between Mango and Hungrybox.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a thing that was happening, and all of a sudden, it is happening at the same time. I doubt it has anything to do with those two, but,
It might have been premeditated.
It might. Not so much premeditated, but in reaction to these two, kind of going at it. This whole Mango Nation versus Hungrybox. And I don't know what to think about that. I didn't really consider if that had any bearing on what's going on now, but, with Smash hitting that kind of national gaming scene spotlight with Evo and Mango and the Mango Nation and Hungrybox kind of getting screwed out of his real set against Wobbles. It's something to think about. Reddit is a large community. You could have that one guy who's just, I'm gonna be a dick.
Pretty much.
Or, someone who's really into Mango or really into Hungrybox and just like, I'm just gonna take everything out. Because, it's one guy with some expendable income can basically, go into the internet underground and get themselves a botnet.
It's weird.
Yeah.
All that drama.
It's a bunch of drama, and, it's kind of been nice to see other websites start, they're reporting that on this. They're, even picking up some of the slack for the other websites. Kotaku, in general, actually, has...
Yes, but at the same time, might be the kind of attention that this individual wants.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is like I wanted to say, they're kind of picking up the slack. Kotaku has put forward places where you can still download Project M. I know that was helpful for me because I hadn't done 2.6b, the download for that.
Yes, that did come out.
Yep. So that was helpful for me to get that finally, because it hit around the time where I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to a tournament on Saturday. I better go download that. And then all this was happening.
Yep. So much drama. Let's wrap up the show. We're a little overtime. Apologies there with our YouTube video recommendations. Super. Let's start with yours.
I posted it in our chat already, which is a pretty good thing considering I might have not gotten back into this. But my recommendation was the Black and White 2 intro animatic. Let me see if I can get the right
was
name.
that the one where the main character had a Lucario?
At one point, yeah. That
Okay, I saw that one. That is a really good one. Definitely
yeah,
check
an
that out if
animated
you're-
trailer short.
Mhm.
And I also threw in a couple links. They're just still images, but they are Smash related, and they are hilarious.
Oh, is it the manga?
It's the manga.
Yes, those are great.
So if we can just throw those in the show notes, I'd be pretty happy.
Boom!
And one last recommendation, because, why the hell not? Something that was posted somewhat recently by the Smashboards Twitter account. It was something that was actually posted on Major League Gaming from 2011. It's called Ken Got Carried. It's an article from 2011, and it pretty much goes over the old. It's part of their Know Your Roots series. So Know Your Roots, Ken Gets Carried. It just goes over kind of Ken's, his what's the word I'm looking for here? His
roots?
tenure as King of Smash.
Okay.
And it even brings into when he was part of Survivor.
Ah, yes.
And how he placed 5th. And then one of the kind of funny things is after his foray on Survivor, Ken finished 2nd just a couple weeks after being in Gabon. Survivor Gabon. Ken went to EVO World 2K8 and finished 2nd.
And that was the one with the Rob and the items.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Rob
gosh.
items and using the final smash off the edge, and someone pointing at him and going, "That's why items are balanced, or final smashes are."
What a ridiculous
Balanced.
tournament. Tony.
Oh, I've posted it. I don't know. I can never remember the duo. They're like the new kind of Chappelle show on
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele. I don't watch Comedy Central enough, but it's this East and West College Bowl. Just look up Key and Peele East and West College Bowl, and it's pretty much Yoko, you know how when you're watching football and
I do know when I'm watching football.
yeah, and when the game starts and it's just the whole rundown of all the players and they say their name and
Yes.
what college they're from. It's that, but it's really silly.
That's great. And that's just in time for football season to start up. So
Definitely.
while we're at it, plugging Down the Sidelines, part of the Show Me Your News Network. If you're into football, you got to check that show out. We do a contest throughout all of football season where you make picks. You don't have to know anything about football, but simply make predictions. It's a good time there. But yes, go check out this Key and Peele skit as well. As far as my video goes, Swoozy. Swoozy's a great YouTube channel. If you've never come across his stuff, he's a competitive gamer and YouTube celebrity, and Swoozy is a great storyteller. One of his more recent videos titled Kiss the Girl Gamer. Entertaining to watch. He's the one who's famous for being a Disney employee, and it's Confessions of a Disney Employee. That's kind of where Swoozy got his big YouTube kind of success, I suppose. But yeah, go check out Swoozy's Kiss the Girl Gamer. Those are all in our show notes. Easy links for you to check out there when you're listening to this on our website at showmenews.com. Anything else we got to cover today, guys?
That's it.
That's
It's a long
everything.
one.
It's a long show at a last minute.
A lot of news.
Yeah, definitely a lot of news for sure. Hopefully we'll have a Nintendo Direct, coming up soon, and they'll even apparently rumors of the new iPhone announcement. So maybe even iPad with Retina display for those that are interested to have that rehashed of is that taking over the handheld and blah blah blah. Who cares? Anyway,
Rayman and Kingdom Hearts should be out next time we do this.
oh yeah.
Kingdom Hearts maybe ish. No, it should be out.
Close. A little bit close.
Oh yeah, apparently something named Cookie Clicker has taken our community by storm. Maybe.
Yes. Apparently that is now a thing.
I have played it, and I accidentally left it open for 2 days while I was gone. Apparently, I have a lot of cookies now.
Cool.
Nom 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 nom.
When I first played the game, I was just like, "This is stupid." As soon as I navigate away, like everything's gone. Apparently, they did the update, so when I walked right back in, it was like, "Oh, okay."
You
Cookies.
can has cookies. And on that bombshell, it's
Cookies.
time to end. With that, I'm Yoko,
I'm super.
I'm Tony.
and we're out. See ya.